special invited guest, the opposition leader, Mr. Mark Golden.
Don't you trouble Zion. Don't you trouble.
Opposition spokesperson on agriculture, Dr. Dayton Campbell. Opposition spokesperson, Senator, forgive me because I had this in order, but Senator Kisha Anderson, Deputy Shadow Spokesperson on Industry, Trade and Global Logistics. And we have in our midst Deputy Shadow Spokesperson on Housing, Senator Floyd Morris. He is the spokesperson. And we have our councillor here, Councillor Donovan Pagan. We want to welcome him as well. Our host councillor, Councillor Dwight Salmon. We want to acknowledge him as well. And the councillor for the Brompton Division, Councillor O'Neill Buchanan. We also want to acknowledge all special invited guests, the business community, farmers, fisher folks, community members, members of the press. We want to acknowledge our online viewers because we're also streaming live. And we want to say a special welcome to you, the residents of St. Elizabeth. Welcome to our town hall meeting. We have in our midst also, I think, the candidate for Northwest St. Elizabeth, Miss Patricia Scarlett, former candidate. Have to acknowledge her, you know. And I'm grateful for all those who have come on out and have made your presence felt this afternoon. We know it has been a difficult evening. It has been raining all day, all evening. And so I know that you are warm and ready to start our proceedings. We're going to begin our proceedings this evening with the national anthem. Please stand. After 2, 1, 2. Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy mighty hands, keep us free from evil powers, be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica. Thank you. Thank you. Just one verse. I know that we have been waiting. We want to acknowledge our opposition spokesperson on water, Mr. Ian Hayles. Okay, we're gonna begin by asking Mr. David Gillespie to open in prayer for us.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, thank you. I'm here this afternoon just to say two little words. But most of all, I'm here to greet all the comrades at the table, protocol observed, especially Comrade Mark Jefferson Golding. Yes, as I am here, it is a good thing for us all to be here this evening. It's a very... We all gonna stand and sing a lively prayer chorus, very lively one. Then I will ask you to keep standing. Meanwhile, I do pray. Someone give me a lively chorus. We are together again. 1, 2, 3. Together again. Just praising the Lord. We are together again. And one accord. Something good is going to happen. Something good is in store. We are together again. Praise the Lord. One more time. Praising the Lord. We're together again. One accord. Something good is going to happen. Something good is in store. Together again. Let's praise the Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Keep standing. Father, in the name of your darling Son and Savior, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I am nothing, but I come humble at your feet at this moment, Lord. Putting every one of us before thee, Lord. All the leaders, the secretary, every one of the party, the warriors, the workers, every one of us, Lord. I ask you, Lord, to cover us from the crown of our head to the sole of our feet, Lord. And let us be true and be patient with others. Let everything that will be said and done tonight at this meeting, Lord, you will find it pleased and be acceptable for us. Especially when when Comrade Golden begin to talk, go with him, Lord. Cover him. Cover every one of us, Lord. These and other mercies I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Gillespie, for sharing his word of prayer. We're going to move along, and I'm going to share with you the outline of today's agenda for our town hall meeting. I just want to say to you, it's such a pleasure to be sharing with you this afternoon. I know it's been a while. Some of us haven't seen each other. Maybe that's why we're on the outside so much. But I'm going to ask you to just come on in so that we can get the business of the people on the way. Please fill up the chairs, especially those at the front. Don't stand at the back. There are more than enough chairs in here. And those who can come up, just give them a little space so that they can get a seat. Okay, today's proceedings will go as follows. We will do greetings after I have done the welcome. Then we'll have the opening remarks, purpose of the town hall meeting. Then we'll have the keynote address, hurricane recovery state of affairs by the opposition leader, Mark Golding. Then we will have the state of housing in St. Elizabeth by Senator Floyd Morris. Then we will have the state of small business and livelihoods by Senator Kisha Anderson. Then we will have the state of water by Hayles MP, opposition spokesperson on water. Then we will have the state of agriculture by Dr. Dayton Campbell. And then we'll have an open floor where the community and the residents and the business owners can share in that effort. So we will have the presentations as follows. So as we go along, I just wanted to share a few words with you. As you know, it's very warm here in Black River this evening. And even though we are moving along with our business, we have to be mindful that many of our residents will go back to homes that may not have electricity. But for now, we wanted you to know that it is important for us to have this town hall meeting. I want to thank you all for being here this evening. I know it was not easy to leave your homes and your farms and your businesses. Before we began, we knew it would have been difficult to arrange this meeting. But because of the grievances and the kind of efforts that we see others are making, we saw the need for this meeting to happen. Black River is a town that has always carried a quiet strength. Farmers getting ready even before wee hours of the morning, market vendors bustling in Black River. The business is always open, no matter what time. This town hall meeting is your space. It is your space to share what you have experienced in the recovery efforts, what is working, what is not working. The leaders you see here this afternoon will hear from you directly. We want your honest opinions. We want you to be respectful. And we want you to leave here with a clear path moving forward. The business and the residents of St. Elizabeth were severely affected by Hurricane Melissa. And as such, we saw it necessary that a town hall meeting be held in this forum so that you can share with us, so that we can share with you. And so we're going to move straight along into the business of what the efforts require. I'm just going to ask the opposition leader, Mr. Mark Golding, to come and give his address.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Miranda Wellington. I think that's the first time I may have called you that, ma'am. So it sounds good, eh? Yeah. I want to pick up all of the persons on the head table. I want to acknowledge all the ladies and gentlemen in the audience. This is not intended to be a political meeting, so I will address you accordingly. I want to thank the members of the media who are here to cover this event as well. And of course, our police officers who are playing an important role, as always, in serving and protecting the people. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now near the end of July 2026. Black River went through, along with much of Western Jamaica, much of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, parts of St. Anne, parts of Manchester. A terrible, devastating event on the 28th of October. And the town of Black River was particularly devastated by the hurricane. Initially, there was a lot of public relations. We had foreign governments, foreign non-governmental organizations specializing in post-disaster relief, local organizations, all chipping in, trying to make the Jamaican people a little stronger, a little more able to endure what they had gone through. And we were hopeful that with the outpouring of support that was evident at that time from all of those entities and governments, and of course from our own diaspora and persons in Jamaica who wanted to help out, we were hopeful that we would see a very serious effort being made to restore the lives of those who were badly affected by the hurricane. However, we are now 9 months or thereabouts past the hurricane date. And I must say that I am very, very disappointed in the government's response to the plight of the people who are affected by the hurricane. We have promises for housing support, apart from the roof program, which wasn't even 0.5% of GDP, and which was very inadequate because even those who lost their entire homes were only given 500,000 Jamaican dollars as a contribution. And many persons who had severe damage were offered and given 200,000. And the whole mechanism for distributing that relief was not attuned to the conditions that people were living in. People were expected to travel far to try and collect on this, and often went away disappointed, having arrived at a hardware many miles from their homes, having incurred costs to get there, only to be told that the materials were not available and so on. And apart from that, the container homes that we were told would have been ready by the end of January, they are still not being made available to people who need them. And of course, for business people, small businesses across Western Jamaica, including Black River, of course, there has been precious little by way of support. And you know, we're seeing it in the fiscal outcomes of the country. So we had negative growth in the final quarter of 2025, which was to be expected given the calamity that occurred. We had negative growth in the first quarter of 2026. So that's 2 successive quarters of negative growth, again, as a result of the hurricane. But when you look at the government's budget for this year, the first 2 months of the fiscal year, which are April and May, the tax revenues collected are some $22 billion less than had been projected in the budget, which is indicative of an economy that is in a state of serious decline. Now, how can you expect anything else when you have the small business sector, whether it be transport operators, retailers, manufacturers, other providers of goods and services, farmers, who have really not been given what is required to get their business back up and running. And when I spoke at the conference last week of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, I said that the situation faced in Western Jamaica by small business people requires what I call a Marshall Plan. What is a Marshall Plan? The Marshall Plan was the plan implemented after World War II to restore the economies of countries like Germany and Japan, who had been devastated in the war, having lost the war. And we know what happened with Germany and Japan. In a matter of years, those economies rebounded and became 2 of the strongest economies in the world. And the Marshall Plan had a major role in that, and that was a plan of the US government. Well, I can't do anything about that. I'm speaking as loudly as I can.
No.
Yeah.
Change your microphone. Can we change his microphone?
I'm not sure it's the issue of the microphone. I don't think it's the microphone. It might be the speakers. Yeah. I can. Yeah. So that is why, all right, that sounds a lot better. That is why, what are you saying, sir? I put it down? Okay. All right. That is why I called for a Marshall Plan for Western Jamaica. We need recovery. The government's response has been something called NARA. They announced NARA in December. And they said that the international financial community, the main international financial development partners, World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, had put together commitments of 6.7 billion US to help Jamaica recover. And then NARA was going to be the vehicle to drive the recovery. Well, we're now towards the end of July. The NARA legislation has been passed. We had major problems with it. We didn't like the structure. We think the structure lacks transparency because the extraordinary powers that are being given to NARA and the Prime Minister under the legislation do not require their exercise of those extraordinary powers being made public in real time. There's no need, for example, if they decide to override a decision of a municipal corporation or of NEPA or of any state agency that is involved in the approval process for a project. If they decide to override or modify a decision, which is what the NARA legislation allows them to do, they don't have to publish the information about that. That was one of the main concerns that we had, the lack of a board to ensure that this agency that is going to be responsible for the spending of billions of US dollars with one CEO reporting to a minister who happens to be the PM, that's not an appropriate structure for a statutory body. There ought to be a board of directors in a normal way to provide oversight and governance to make sure that the person who is in charge of running the entity is doing so efficiently in a way that is above board and is executing the policies that have been set for him or her. That was another concern that we have. In the meantime, NARA's purpose seems to have evolved, because when you hear about what NARA is intended to do, they're talking about things like building a new hospital in Kingston to replace the Kingston Public Hospital. That has nothing to do with Hurricane Melissa whatsoever. What do I say now? The re-envisioning and rebuilding of Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in Montego Bay, which is the hip strip. You know, again, a project which was on the table to be executed before Melissa. We're hearing, is NARA going to that? You know, upgrading courthouses or all sorts of things. When what we really need is a serious housing program to help people to get their houses back into habitable condition. And we need a program to help businesses restart, retool, buy stock, fix their premises. So we don't even, from what we're hearing, NARA is not even going to be up and running probably until the end of the year, because they have to build out their staff and all the rest of it. They're in talks with international development partners for assistance around the administration of NARA. So it's not going to be a rapid response, when what Jamaica needs is a rapid response. People's lives have been turned upside down. And so I'm very disappointed in the response of the government to this. I must tell you, I would have thought that having gone through the COVID experience, when certain things were put in place, for example, to help tourism workers who had been laid off because the tourism industry had shut down, and even small business owners, if they could show that they were licensed and so on, they could get a grant and that kind. We're not seeing any of that. So the whole thing is totally inadequate, and it is contributing to the underperformance of the economy, and it is to be the subject of serious debate and commentary. And I'm talking about it. I don't hear civil society talking about it. I don't hear the private sector talking about it. But I don't know whether they're afraid of government or what it is. But it needs to be said. You can't sit down in Kingston and things are all right and just assume that that is how Jamaica, the whole of Jamaica is. You know, that is not the case. And we are very concerned about it. We have heard announcements to do with Black River and parity and the building of a new town and so on. Now, we did some research in anticipation of this meeting, and we discovered, based on the research, that some 2/3 of the land in this area are relatively small holdings. So that means that there are a lot of people who are going to be affected by any supposed relocation. And the concerns of the people, the views of the people and their opinions, their vision for what that may look like if we're going to have a new, what's going to happen to them and their livelihoods, their family land, where their relatives may be buried, if they're fisher folk, access to the sea, all of these things. These things need to be worked through with the people. It has to be a people-centered thing. You can't be just making decisions in Jamaica House or wherever it is and saying to everybody, this is what it's going to be. I understand that Major General Anthony Anderson came down here yesterday or the day before, and I'm glad to see that he came. Maybe he heard about the town hall and decided he would show his face before. Whatever it is, I'm glad he came. But that is not really a structured form of consultation with the people. There needs to be a structured form of consultation with the people to ensure that the people's lives are improved by whatever plan is being executed and developed and executed. Not the reverse, not where some people just think this is the ideal solution and we're going to run with that. That cannot work. And we will intend to be vigilant about that as well. You know, at the same conference, I mentioned transport operators because I've been seeing indications where transport operators and the motoring public is under stress by the way in which the Road Traffic Act is being enforced, where people are being given tickets for fairly very ordinary and unnecessary things. Eating peanuts while driving. Having your phone anchored in a device. Not talking on the phone, you know. You just have it there and they say it's careless driving or something is impeding your view. And this is a country that is under stress. Cost of living is going through the roof. You know, the price of gas has gone up and up. Electricity is going up. Everything is going up. Because even to transport goods around the world now, freight costs have gone up hugely. So everything is being worked through into the price of all products that you have to consume. This is not a time for unnecessarily onerous enforcement of laws that really are not having an impact on road safety anyway. And then you're going to put the demerit point system on top of that. I think we need to have a review in Parliament of all of the road traffic offenses to see how they operate in practice and to make sure that they are balanced and they are proportionate and that they make sense for the people. I will not touch on the issues of water or agriculture or indeed financing business and so on, because We have very able persons with the responsibilities for those portfolios here who will speak. I would just ask them, don't speak too long, because really the town hall aspect of this is important, which is really the opportunity for citizens to raise their concerns, and so we can hear from the people, and the people can hear from us in response to those concerns. So I'm not making any long speech, but I just wanted to set an overview of where we are. The economy is in a serious state, and the government are dealing with the crisis of Melissa and the cost of living crisis that has come with it in the very inadequate way that they are really contributing to the problem. And it needs a bold and well thought through solution to get the people of Jamaica, especially the people in the West, here in St. Elizabeth and other parishes which have been affected by the hurricane, back on their feet, back in proper shelter, back able to run their business, back able to live lives of dignity and lives where they can pursue their hopes and dreams. Thank you for having us here today. One love. God bless you all.
Please give Mr. Mark Golding another round of applause. You will hear from him again. As you know, this is a town hall address, so the most important thing is to hear from you, and then they will respond. But as you know, this town hall meeting is not just hearing from the residents of Black River, but we're hearing from the residents of St. Elizabeth. And as such, we would like to hear from the minority leader, Councillor Donovan Pagan, to give some greetings.
I'm not as short as the MC, you know. All protocols observed, but I have to big up our leader of the opposition, Mr. Mark Golding. Residents of St. Elizabeth, greetings and salutations. I am glad to be here this afternoon because certain things is happening, and I'm going to be very parochial and brief. Welcome to the former mayor, my good friend, Everton Seaton Fisher, is in the house. Now, residents, after Melissa, we have heard of certain things that is going to happen in Black River. They are going to build back a new city. Now, from the hurricane has happened, we have not been invited, the local authority, to any of the consultation meetings. We have been left out of the loop. And Mr. Golding, we have a proper planning unit at council who cannot be left out. We know the nooks and crannies of Black River. So we have to be involved in it from day one, but we are left out. Now, also who has been left out? They had a meeting, but it's mostly the bigger business people that was present at that meeting. We have a lot of small business persons in and around Black River who was not at those meetings, and they cannot be left out of the loop. Because in rebuilding, we need the advice of the small man. You cannot rebuild without the small man. The small people, you not agree with me? The small people know the thing. It's not everything the bright man with the education or the big engineers, them know everything. Listen to the people. Because sometimes flood happen here, the engineers don't listen. And when down the road, the thing mash up again. So it is good to listen to the small people. And when your time comes in this meeting, I don't want you to be shy. Make your voices be heard. We have a lot of spokesperson here who will listen to you, and everything that you comment and suggest here will be documented. So residents, I want you to sit back and enjoy this meeting, and I want you to participate 100%. And thank you all for coming. Big up.
Thank you so much, Councillor Pagan. Thank you so much for sharing your few remarks. And I want to officially acknowledge the councillor for the Braes River Division, Councillor Everton Fisher. Balaclava Division. We are being hosted in Black River at Black River High School by the councillor of Black River, and I'd love for him to come and share his few greetings and his experience during this entire recovery.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I want to just pause to acknowledge our opposition leader, Mark Golden, and all the officials sitting here on the platform. And you, the citizens and residents of Black River and surrounding community, I greet you well. Today, everybody here is left with a story after the passing of Hurricane Melissa. Everybody Ian hears, everybody have a testimony with Melissa. But for us, the local residents, the local councillor like myself, Donovan Pagan, Everton Fisher, O'Neill Buchanan, and Leighton Smith, we have a different experience, because if you notice, the resources coming to you through us as councillors is nothing. Because since the passing of the hurricane, all councillor has received is $250,000 to issue out care package to people. That $250,000, because when I realize the non-GO, non-profit organization, if I never them opposition leader Mark Golden, my people would have more funeral here in Black River. Even myself went to, what the food place name again? Rural Food Kitchen to collect lunch at daytime because of the condition of my house. Not only that, we were supposed to prepare for the next hurricane season. And the minister come out. This is not a political meeting, you know, but we as councillors sometimes on a curse and we have to tell them the truth. The minister of local government come out and he make a big announcement. 70 million will be coming to parish councils for councillors to clean drain. But only for the people to know that you have 228 councillors. And when you divide that by 70 million, you get $307,000. But people see you every day and they must say, yo, the minister announced say you get money country, where the money there? And now you can't start the work. But what I want as Donovan Pagan share with you, I want all of us to have an open discussion and be frank with each other. And At the end of this meeting, I want everybody to leave at least with a ray of hope. God bless you all. The word is love.
Truth. Truth. That's the counselor for the Black River Division. We're going to change up the modality of the agenda so that we can hear more from you, the residents, the citizens. And then we will hear from the spokespersons, because if we allow them to speak, they will maybe not hear enough from you to respond, because the whole agenda of this meeting is to hear from you. So we're going to flip the script a little bit. We're going to allow for the segment where we have the opening of the floor. And what we will have is your questions being addressed by the spokesperson representing that issue. And then they can respond to you in the line. But before we get to that point, let me just outline some of the ways that we can make this process run a little smoother. So as you know, on the platform, we have the spokespersons for various areas. We have the spokesperson on water, MP Ian Hayles. Everybody know Ian Hayles, right? All right, so he's a spokesperson on water. So when you come up to ask your question, don't ask multiple questions. Maybe ask one or two questions so that when the response is given, he can give it in a wholesome way. And if you hear a response that may address your question, you may not need to ask it again. So we want it to run a little smoother. And then what will happen too, even though we have spokespersons on housing, industry and investment, spokesperson on housing, industry, trade, and global logistics and agriculture, they may be able to answer a few more questions outside of their portfolio. And maybe you can address some of those questions also to the opposition leader. So I don't want you to be limited, but I also want you to be clear and concise. All right, so there's a microphone to my left, to your right. Everybody see that microphone right there? We have somebody recording some of these information. So what you will do is, we're gonna ask you to just come up to the microphone, ask your question. We will take that microphone to you if you are not able to move, because we have to be mindful of those who are not able to move so easily, agilely through the rows. Right, just hold up your hand and somebody will take the microphone to you. And then we will ask the responding spokesperson to respond to that question. So we'll take two and then a response, instead of one question, one response. So two questions and then one response. So we're going to open the floor now. We're going to ask the public. We're going to ask the residents of St. Elizabeth and those of Black River, especially those affected. I hope there are residents from Parity. I hope there are residents from Slipe. I hope there are residents from Brompton. Because, opposition leader, I would like to acknowledge that there are times when people do not recognize that Brompton is as affected by this hurricane just as Black River. There is no Black River without Brompton, because Brompton and Black River are sisters, sister and brothers. And so they are just as heavily impacted by this hurricane. And I'm sure they will share their experiences that they have had over these past 9 months. So residents and citizens, this is your time. This is your opportunity to share, and I want you to be honest. I want you to be frank, and I want you to be respectful, because we're also on the media, we're online, and people will hear what you have to say. So we're gonna just take the questions now. So anybody wants to start? Mr. Richard Reynolds, you want to start? I know you have a lot to share. Oh, thank you so much. It might not be a question, but it might be a testimony, an experience.
Good evening. I'm coming from Wellington, right? And good evening. I know that all of we are here to join a meeting this evening. But what I'm coming up here to tell, the hurricane affect all of us. Some people are on the tarpaulin as well right now. They have nowhere to go. My house is affected. I don't have a roof right now neither. And we were really damaged. We have to find food that we can give it to our neighbor. You understand? And thank you for come up here and have a real talk. This and what I was talking about. We have no water, and Mr. Buchanan is trying best to give me water. So we need assistance run by Wellington. It's a desperate place because the hurricane mashed we up bad. Me have 155 chickens and all guns. A little man come around here and put in like an assistant to us. He's away from Kingston, right? I went to NIS office and they come at my yard. And them said, them are going to give me, listen lady, make me talk. They said they're going to give we assistant over there. So few people get something. Much of the people, they don't get anything at all. Me went there and all me asked, and not even a single $2 before $1 me don't get. You understand? We have a children who go to school. Nobody come there except Mr. Buchanan. We out of water, Mr. Buchanan. You understand what I'm saying this evening to you? We need assistance for the roof because some people and them child not living nowhere until to the blessed day. You understand me? Yes, not even food if whenever Mr. Buchanan we don't eat around here. We don't have anything around here. We need assistance around here. As to the water is the most important too. We don't have no road neither. Food for the poor come there. Listen to me, lady. Food for the poor come there. And I put on some roof and give it Wanda. And them say they can't cover all of the house. And all the house they can't cover. You understand what I'm saying? We need assistance around here. Because no cannibal no live around here. It's a people live in this community around here. So we need assistance around here. It's very bad around here. It's very bad around here. We have to walk 17 miles to get a cup of water for bed. Eh? Look pretty good. Come on, man.
Thank you so much.
Eh? Tell me now. If there's something all right. It can't all right, brother. When you go up at NIS, them tell us your name not come down police, brother. Eh? Talk it out, man. Eh?
So,
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Based on what I'm hearing, she needs a response from the housing, roofs program, and water. What are the possible assistance for those areas? All right, we're going to take one more question and then we go to the responses.
Anyway, good afternoon. Me is from Vineyard, about 5 miles out of Black River. And my concern is agriculture me depend at this time. Them say if you register with RADA, you register. You can't get your animal them tag. You can't get your animal sell. So that is my main concern. Water also. We are suffer. We don't know road. Vineyard no exist. Eh? Trust me, man. Me I tell you, me fed up. But I just show me no easy to give up. But me fed up. You understand? Cause boy Floyd green a waste of time. You call him name. Waste of time. You understand? Don't mention Andrew. Me no want to hear them. Me no want to see them. Me fed up. Me no know what next. Anything you try a problem. If you come run like a taxi, problem. If you carry out your product, problem. Me want me cow fi sell and me can't get me cow sell. Some tag, some no tag. Me want to know what's going on. That is my few words. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. I just want to reaffirm that we have to remain respectful despite the circumstances, and we're going to have the response. Can take a few more. We're gonna. All right, we're gonna move to one more question and then a response. One more question.
Good evening, everyone. Big up on yourself. Come ready. You know what's the TikTok boss this. Big up yourself, Mr. Mark Wellington. I'm right here with you. But I don't know how this speed good enough. I joke when I make when you see me in front of Mr. Mark Wellington. But Mr. Dayton Campbell, you may come out. Yes, so nice. You want me to say no, Mr. Dayton? I'm from Bag District, Carmel, P.O., Westmoreland. That's where I born, right? So that's where I born, but I grew up in St. Elizabeth, Black River, and me is all around that to Jamaica. But I'm telling you something, sometimes you hear someone talk about politics, see the original you feel it. Me I tell me come like me born from before Michael Manley and them people. So Mr. Dayton Campbell, what I have to say to you, I'm from Bag District, which where PJ Patterson used to have him van, broke down, we roast yam pan fireside, send a White House go buy gas and come back right a back corner. You know where Forward Square is, Mr. Dayton, where they have a football ground over there. I am moving back to Westmoreland. Come live on me yard, me come on me yard. I'm going to near you. I don't want you there far from me. Come me show you the ropes in a Westmoreland. Come, I can show you everything in a Jamaica. See me, you know. Anyone that want it, Mark Golden, I can lead on today because I know we are mashed up. I know we are breakdown. I know where the labor right them yam down, kick down, broke down, pop down, how they mash up Jamaica. So what I want to tell you now, we have never been through light, good street light in Bag District, Pinnacle, New Works, Petersville, Petersfield, Darliston, Newmarket. We don't have no good proper light there. So we want internet come. We want keep up the PNP party upcoming. Margolal when I all left in a party, me dead with you. Everybody can go on, me dead with you. I'm Mr. Comrade.
Thank you.
Hold on. Mr. Margolin. And me and the girl will live under the chop hall in a Newtown right there, so. And no, me still under the chop hall in. Me just make me video come out of the chop hall in. So now run come out of Black River High School, Mark Golden is here. So here what I want to say to you now, Mr. Dayton. Water easy for Westmoreland. Very easy. We have the spring there. We have a well there. The well is in Forward Square, right where you see the football ground. One well up on the side where you see the container them over there. So one big well over there. So for run water in our community. Here we again. You see down a Beast and Spring, we have the spring. So left all that can serve left all Petersville and them places. Go now. You know, see if you don't know Jamaica, just come to me. Let I tell you something. This is like a testimony. I used to be a stripper. Me not afraid for telling the whole world know me. So true that me know the whole of Jamaica. Me I travel from a long time ago all about. Me know every crevice and corner. I know where lockdown. I know where poverty take over. I know where stress take over. Listen me, if you don't have dancehall and music in a Jamaican activity as football and them someday, Jamaica can't come back to no matter what another we need sports and entertainment in this.
Thank you very
That
much.
is what run it, and that is what make market vendor sell. When you have your farmer, your food that sell on the ground, you come at the place, at the dance hall place, come sell it. It will sell it. The people when you keep the event, I go buy it to come sell the peanuts. So people would have done with farming like this. And Joe Wallace could have come lock down farming in Jamaica if entertainment did a run, but in the life so we eat food. I'm alone to eat food. Can come up here, so come talk already. Say. Up here, so Black River belongs to him, and him come here so Indian food. Well, you know, name no food down here, so me a stand up with Dayton, Campbell, and Mark Wellington in a Jamaica until that no spot.
Thank you, TikTok boss. Thank you. We're gonna ask. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm gonna ask. Since two major issues came up from those questions. The first person who came up spoke on the roofs program. So I'm going to ask Senator Floyd Morris to come up to the podium. I'm going to ask him to come up and speak. All right, he can speak.
Microphone, okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I want to acknowledge the Okay, thank you. I want to acknowledge the leader of the opposition, Mr. Mark Golding, and my colleague parliamentarians who are present here to speak on the different issues. And I must say to the residents of Black River and St. Elizabeth that we in the People's National Party continue to share your pain and your suffering. And that is why the leader has assembled this team to be here to hear the concerns from you so that we can better articulate the issues in the parliament. And I'm certain that you hear us speaking up the issues for you. But when we come to you live and direct like this, you know, we get more ammunition to go back to the parliament with, all right? So the issues about the roof program has been raised. And I tell you, residents, I am very annoyed by what has been taking place with the roofs program, because the government indicated that it was allocating $10 billion to assist residents across the country. When they did the assessment, some 113,000 individuals were assessed. And they were at different levels. I think they said 40% partially damaged, another 42% severely damaged, and then you have another 18 or so percent that saw their houses totally destroyed. And they have different categories of assistance, starting from 75,000 for minor damage. I think it was 250,000 for severely damaged houses, 200,000 and 500,000 for those that have been totally destroyed. Now, when I listened to the minister who is responsible for labor and social security, talking on the radio program one evening, and he said that they have paid out about 8.8, close to $9 billion to individuals across the affected parishes and at different levels. And out of Remember I said 113,000 individuals were officially assessed? He said 40,000 individuals received some form of benefit. So that means almost $1 billion was left to pay out to over 70,000 individuals, leader of the opposition. $1 billion to distribute to 70,000 households after they paid out that first almost $9 billion. And so I will tell you that I am in the parliament, in the Senate. The leader of the opposition is in the House of Representatives. Dr. Campbell is in the House of Representatives. And Mr. Ian Hayles is in the House of Representatives. And Senator Kisha Henderson is with me in the Senate. And we don't hear of no additional funds allocated for the Roots program. And them, when they ask questions, you know, the first thing them run for, because they can't manage me. So the first thing them start to do, of course, me say me blind. But me I go ask them a question. No, because I want to know where is the rest of money coming from to pay the residents, the households across the parishes to get some form of assistance. I said to the Prime Minister, I see and hear that you are taking in third country nationals, 10,000 of them, into our country, which means that you will have to provide accommodation for them. I want to know, are you going to provide accommodation for those third country nationals before those deportees, before you provide the assistance to the other 70,000 individuals in Jamaica who have not gotten any assistance yet? We want to know, because we say Jamaica first, and we say that the people in Black River must get the assistance, because the roof, people still living under tarpaulin, as you have said. And we are here to stand with you tonight because we want you to get something over your head, proper and decent. Because when the hurricane came, it never searched out for PNP or search out for JLP. It hit Jamaicans, and we want Jamaicans to get the assistance. And finally, before I take the next round of question, they told us that they were going to provide some container homes to assist those individuals whose houses have been totally destroyed. No, so you know, did you hear? Because I want to know if me make mischief, you know. Because me not in the mischief making. I want to talk what they say. And didn't you hear them say that those houses would arrive in Jamaica by January? All right. And you see that it never come January. And them delay and delay until them say some houses came in May, right? You know, hear that? All right. So some of the houses came in May. And now, May, June, July, 3 months, right? And I don't get any of the houses? So, do you think that a caring government, having seen and felt the plight of the people from October, Don't you think a caring government, the first house will come off of the wharf, that those houses would be distributed to the people who need it out in the communities? All right. So we want to know where the house them there.
Thank you so much, Senator Floyd Morris. I think that was one of the major issues affecting most of the residents in this room and the surrounding communities. Many of them are still living under tarps. Many of them are still living in homes without roofs, and they are not aware of any form of assistance in getting them resheltered. So that is coming out from the questions. The next question would be on water. So can we have, yes, you can do your presentation, then you can respond. Please give a round of applause for Hayles MP.
Leader of the opposition, colleagues, citizens of St. Elizabeth, good evening. Good evening. All right, so before I go any further, I just want to say one thing. I remembered after Hurricane Beryl, Mark Golden was one of the first persons to come down here. That's number one. Number two, when Hurricane Melissa came, Mark Golden was one of the first person to come down here also. And you have some in Kingston, you know, and the media might go after me for this. But you have some in Kingston that might say the PNP is distracted. But that distraction, if there's such a word, Mark Golden is here today with you, the people of St. Elizabeth. And there's no doubt in my mind that if Mark Golden was the Prime Minister of Jamaica today, we'd be having a different conversation here today. But I can tell you this. You're here today because they're going to build this new shining city in St. Elizabeth, in Black River. And for most of you, it don't look like it's going to shine for you. That's what's happening. No, I want to say this to you. To every time there's a crisis in this country, the People's National Party has always been there for the people of Jamaica. And secondly, I just want to say this to even the critics in the media. I have never seen a leader of the opposition work as Mark Golden work for the people of Jamaica. Inside the parliament and outside the parliament, Mark Golden has championed the cause of the poor people of this country, and that's why he's here with you, the people of St. Elizabeth, today. Look, my portfolio position is water, you know. And Black River has one of the largest bodies of water across the entire world. But yet you can't get the water. I see where the minister, if you look at the budget book and all of them fancy things, are going to be brief today, you know. It is $80 million that is down for water, to truck water. And you would have thought more or less if Black River, if St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, where everybody knows this is where it made landfall, there would be a special allocation to ensure that they give you water. Even if they have to truck it to you, that is not being done as we speak. So before I go any further, I want to call on the Minister of Water, ensure that the councillors in the corporation get the necessary funding to truck water for the people of St. Elizabeth. That's one. is, I want to call on the local government minister also to make an allocation to the St. Elizabeth Municipal Council in ensuring that they can truck water to you. I just want to say one thing, and I want to touch on it, how the water thing going to affect you. A lot of you might live on a piece of capture land or private land that doesn't belong to you. You have to go through hoops for NWC to give you a meter so you can get the water. I want you to understand what I'm saying. No, with this new city, you might can't get the letter from the government or get any water on it because it might act as a deterrent. Because the leader spoke about it a while ago that all of these small parcels of land, it's small people like yourself who owns it. And I'm saying here is, look, I think the government has said they're taking in investors, what, 10 to 15 million dollars US? 15 million US to build this new shining city here in St. Elizabeth. Whether you're an upper class businessman in St. Elizabeth or a lower class, this is going to affect each and every one of you because it's not a lot of you. In St. Elizabeth here have 15 million US dollars sitting down as we speak. Look, I can say this to you. What the government ought to be doing is coming down here like what Mark Golden is doing right now. Coming down here to hear from you. Consultation, come on the ground. This is what the PNP is all about. So I just want to say, look, I am sitting right here and writing down every area, every district, and I'm going to pen a letter and I'm going to call the Minister of Water because you need somebody to fight on your behalf. And I can tell you this much, if Miranda was there, we wouldn't be having this conversation here also. But look, we in the People's National Party, we want to know where you fall in the shining city. Because it cannot only be shining for a few. It must shine for each and every one of you inside here. And that's a fight that this party, this People's National Party, is willing to take to the government. So I'm going to sit back. I want to hear from you, every community that is without water, every community that can be impacted by us in opposition, by making some changes, however small it is in your life. Because at the end of the day, we believe in the people of Jamaica. I thank you, and the word is love.
Well said, the opposition spokesperson on water. So as you come up with your questions, residents, citizens, please state the communities that are still without water, because we will be making some advocacy on that behalf. The second person who came up spoke on the state of affairs in vineyards, on agriculture. I'm going to hold off on Dr. Dayton's presentation, but I am going to take two more questions. Right. Going to hold off on agriculture because I know many of you are in here are farmers and fisher folk, and you have a lot of burning issues that you want to share. But I also want to make an agitation to the business community. And I know our Senator Anderson is here to share with you on that portfolio. So those within the business community, your time now, if you can come up and share any questions, any issues, factors that are affecting you, because Black River 10 months ago was one of the most bustling, thriving towns in St. Elizabeth. And it's like it just get wiped off the map and forgotten, sweep under the rug. So Let me hear from you. We're still going to take some questions. So we're going to take about 3 questions and then we move on to the next presentation. So let me hear from the residents. I think I heard somebody in the back who wanted to share. Just raise your hand and we'll take the microphone to you. You do not have to come up here. Once you stand, we can identify you. We'll take the microphone to you. Right over there. Just raise your hand so that we can see. Go ahead for me. If you want, you can still speak on agriculture. If you want. Anything.
I am Marsha Watson from Wellington. I am in a mixed feeling. If you cut me, when me cry tears, when me not hear say me party up there. I cry so till. And me have my mother who have cataract on her eyes. She is on Mandeville Clinic. I know our eyes cannot be dealt with because we poor. Maybe if me be rich, he wouldn't look after already. And behind that, me have to wash for her, and I cannot get no water in Wellington. It is very stressful. Me have to go people yard and sometimes they make up their face to give me liquor water. So me tired and me sick and stressed out. Me I tell you, say me stress.
Thank you for sharing, Marsha. I know it has been hard for you. All right, thank you.
Doctor, moderator, opposition leader and team, residents, good evening. Firstly, opposition leader and team, I'm a little bit disappointed in the response in terms of St. Elizabeth and the Western area, in terms of your advocacy on the ground with the Melissa persons, because you're aware that hurricane struck this Western area. Kingston, St. Catherine, Portland, those areas weren't affected. So I thought there should have been a little more focus on the ground in terms of what was happening to the persons. Because it is obvious to me that what has transpired with Melissa and the response of the government is the most incompetent program that I've seen rolled out as a response to an emergency. Incompetence from the beginning. It was fraught with a lot of mistakes, hiccups, and to date, opposition leader, there are hundreds of persons in St. Elizabeth who are yet to receive a benefit. The minister is using social media to spread misinformation. The numbers that they are saying that how many thousands have been receiving benefit, that's not the true case. Up to now, there are persons who have submitted information to the bank or through NIS from 3 months, waiting to be paid, waiting to get a benefit, and they have not gotten it. So it is paperwork and PR instead of what is happening to the life of the people. What I want to ask opposition leader and your team, there are many persons who were evaluated. Their information went in, and when they are checking now, their names are not appearing. And there are many persons who have self-reported because they were not captured. Having self-reported, they were told that they would have been visited. The timeline for that has cut off, and hundreds of persons still have not been included. I'm going to ask you as your team to make representation in respect to these persons who have legitimately made it the timeline in reporting, and those who have evaluated but they can't find a name. Make a special representation that some mechanism be in place to review those persons. Secondly, in terms of the parity era, mention was made of Major Anderson and I think the Member of Parliament went into party last week secretly. The residents weren't aware of his coming, only probably a few zealots. And I saw them making some announcement that they had some discussion with persons in the party. That is not true. A few persons they might have seen. And let me say to you that tomorrow, I have been told that tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, they will be in party for a consultation. Most of the persons in party have not been told because they're doing it just to accommodate those who would be for their view. So I want to put it on record for all the people in party to be aware that tomorrow at Basil, they'll have a consultation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Based on what you have shared, you would like to hear more advocacy on the roofs program for them to open that system back up. So I think we're gonna, yes, we can take one more question and then we're gonna ask.
Houses confirming that they are at the right location, and then mischievously they are removed from that location to another location, suggesting that the person has another house. Secondly, the NIS payouts and whatever they're giving out is being political. The house rule from the soldiers is being political. There's a person that was called and confirmed, the soldier confirmed it was hit the right address. And weeks after, when they didn't put on the roof and the person investigated, they moved it to another individual. And they did it so smart that they went into the land tax listing and moved it to somebody with almost the same name as the person that don't live in Jamaica. Got a house via the death of his mother. And they also put his name on the NIS roll to achieve other things. And so most of the people, they think that when they register with the NIS, they are being sidelined and put on other people from the other parties getting through. And this is facts. This is something investigated and experienced by a lot of people. And another thing, why is it, to Mr. Campbell, I would like to get this out. I haven't got this information. Is it a requirement now for a farmer to have food handlers permit? Why I ask you that question, I am in position on my phone with a person getting information from the NIS to get some fertilizer. The person occupies a piece of land that I'm responsible for. And the information, one of the information, the person has to get a food handler's permit just to get the fertilizer, along with other information. So the farmer that is planting has to get a food handler's permit just to receive the fertilizer. So all these things is being put in the people's way, and it is moving. When they find out that you're a PNP, they move the thing from you completely.
Thank you so much, Mr. Reynolds. So based on what I'm hearing, you're saying is that some of the residents are experiencing political victimization. Okay. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Leader of opposition, colleagues. Hello, hi. Good. So I wanted to make a few points. If I could have your attention, please. I am in a similar mood to you, my lady. I am a little bit broken in spirit listening to the concerns of the people. And the greatest issue I have with the government is that I believe that they're uncaring in the approach that they are pursuing. And I will give evidence as to why I came to that conclusion. First, we have a problem in Jamaica with predial larceny. That is persons who steal agricultural produce, whether it's crop or livestock. They take what does not belong to them and they try to sell it. To deal with it in relation to livestock, we came up with a system called the National Animal Identification and Traceability System, which is designed to ensure that you can tag the animals, right? So that it makes it harder for somebody to sell an animal if they do not have the tag and the record of the animal. Because the government is not giving any tags to the farmers or not tagging the animals, it is causing normal citizens to be made into criminals. So somebody who legitimately has their cattle, goats or pigs or whatever, are not able to sell them because if they attempt to do so and they do not have the tag for the animal and the police were to intercept them, then they would be charged and treated as if they are the predial larcenist. They are the person that is stealing the animal. In 2023, the government reviewed the penalties. The penalties, it was $250,000 or 3 months in prison. And this same new administration of the same party moved it to $3 million or 3 years in prison. So I want you to understand. You are here and you're just raising your goats, you're raising your cow, you're trying to make a life so you can take care of yourself and your family. The government says they are trying to help you. We agree, put a tag in place. You know, put a system in place to tag the animals so we can trace them. And they moved the penalty from $250,000 or 3 months in prison to $3 million or 3 years in prison. And they don't provide any tags to the farmers who have their animals out there. It is wicked and uncaring. When I did some checks now and I said, let me look and see how much is it for a tag. The first animal is supposed to be tagged free of charge, and then $300 for every animal after that. The government, after the hurricane, went out and raised some money from people who said, all right, our brothers and sisters were affected. We are donating some money so you can go help them. People from yard and people from abroad donated some money. $1.44 billion. Not million, you know. $1 billion. $1.44 billion. And up to February, the government spent less than 2% of it. 2% means that if it was 100 something that you have, them spend less than 2 out of it. So 98 still left. If they were to spend the 0.44 on some tax, they would be able to tag 1.46 million animals. So I can only come to the conclusion that they don't care. I can't come to any other conclusion. And the only conclusion I can come to is that they do not care. Agriculture suffered significant damage. And remember that I am your neighbor to the west. Remember, I'm your neighbor to the west here. So I understand firsthand the devastation that was experienced in these parts. Firsthand. In relation to housing stock, those that were damaged are totally destroyed. In relation to your businesses, your little shop that you would have, or any other business that you would have, got the same damage that the house would have gotten because they were constructed the same way. I understand the damage that you would have suffered in relation to electricity, the damage to the schools, the damage to your farms. And so I can stand here and state clearly that we support every single effort to rebuild for the people of Jamaica. Every single effort to rebuild for the people of Jamaica. And whatever we can do from where we stand to accelerate, fast track that process, make it happen quicker, we will do so, because we want the people to be restored to the condition they were in and be improved to even better conditions. We're not against that. I am anxious to see people returning to their regular life and their livelihood being restored. Agriculture is one of the main things that we can do to empower people. And I don't have to preach this to you, because St. Elizabeth is the breadbasket parish of Jamaica. 1 out of every 4 things that is produced in agriculture is produced in St. Elizabeth. 14 parishes we have, but 1 out of every 4 things that produce in agriculture, 24% of what we produce in agriculture comes from St. Elizabeth. Agriculture employs almost 300,000 people. You have the Minister of Agriculture as your member of parliament. The Minister of Agriculture as your representative. And next door is the Deputy Minister of Agriculture in the parish of St. Elizabeth. Both the minister and the deputy are from the parish of St. Elizabeth. When Beryl passed, the minister said that agriculture suffered $36.2 billion in damage directly. And if you look at a sector-wide thing, it is $60 billion. His numbers I'm giving you. And that fisheries suffered $5.7 billion in loss. 45% of the fleet, the vessels, damaged. That's the information that he has, How then could it be that he has done so little to help the people of the constituency that he represents and the people of the parish that he is from, to get them back on their feet? How comes? When you go out to do what you're doing, I know that most people here are hardworking citizens who want an opportunity, and you will make it if you get the opportunity. Had we been in government, we would have put a disaster fund in place so that we can respond to these things and respond in a timely manner. And I made this point during the sectoral debate. We would have ensured that the losses that you suffered that you would have been able in a transparent way so that nobody could stand up and say that people are benefiting based on the political party that they supported. We would have ensured that people benefit based on the practice of agriculture, the fact that they are registered and bona fide farmers. It is that basis on which we would have used to assist the people. And if we assist you, and you can go back out there, and you can grow your crops and raise your animals, then you could help to restore your own dwelling. You would have been in a position where you're earning your own money so you can help to put back things in order so that your house can be dealt with, your children's education can continue, and your life can go on. So, the critical point that we are making, it is not enough for the Minister of Agriculture to give out a few sachets of seeds and a few bags of fertilizer to the selected few, and the rest of the people suffer. And give out the exact same seeds and fertilizer to everybody so you get a glut in that particular item. And then shortly thereafter, there is scarcity in the same item because there is little planning that takes place in how we are going to respond to these things. I saw where a farmer in this constituency, I think Flagaman, planting onions, was complaining of the inability a few months ago to sell the onions, that they couldn't get anything for it. Fast forward to last week, I am reading an article in the Observer, and it said the market bag, onions now $500 a pound. Few months ago, you know, berating the fact that there is a glut, can't move the onions. And a few months on, it's now $500 a pound. And when he was complaining, he wanted $250 a pound. It is now twice that. There is no planning. There is no drying of no storage of the agricultural produce so that we can plan appropriately. We know how much of these items we use on an annual basis. The Ministry of Agriculture knows how much Irish potato is used, how much onion is used, how much cabbage is used, how much carrot is used. They have all of that information, you know. But yet still they fail to plan so that we can have a consistent supply throughout the year and that farmers can get adequate compensation for their hard work. Time may be delayed, but time is never denied. Your time will soon come.
Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, so we want to thank Dr. Dayton Campbell for speaking on the agricultural response. And we're now going to have Senator Kisha Anderson to speak on the reopening benefit program. Please give her a round of applause as she comes up to give her presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Miranda. Good evening, the people of St. Elizabeth. All right. I must tell you, you're an inspiration to me tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. Driving down here, the rain was pouring. Entering Black River, the place looks abandoned. Wouldn't you say so? So when I came through the gates and I saw the hundreds of people here waiting for their voices to be heard, I felt inspired, and my hat and maximum respect goes to each and every one of you. And I also want to thank and show respect to your counselors, because they so understood the plight and the fact that the attention has moved from the people of St. Elizabeth and out in the West. Because in Kingston, we think everything is normal, you know. In Kingston, when you drive up there, you almost forget that a hurricane just impacted if it wasn't for the economy and the fact that not really going on in Jamaica. you would almost forget that there was a hurricane out there, because they would tell you over and over when you turn on the news that life is back to normal. Is your life back to normal? So I really want to thank your counselors for raising the awareness and bringing us here, and the opposition leader for responding immediately. Right. What we must remember, and I want you to remember, the same way you inspire me, you can inspire Jamaica, and you can educate the rest of us, because there's power in your voice. So one thing I heard you say, and in talking to opposition leader, I said, let me get up and remind you or encourage you or guide you to do, is that a lot of people seem to have been assessed, but nothing has happened, right? You're living under tarpaulin same way. So I suggest that we create a big database. I don't know if the counselors can help you to register your name and the information that you gave, so that we now can advocate on your behalf. Because that's the best thing we can do. Hear what's happening and advocate for you. So you think you can do that? Yeah, man, give your names and advocate. Because what I think the government is missing is the very fact that besides announcements, there are real consequences when nothing is happening. So if you don't have a roof over your head, and maybe your house was where you had your little shop, not true, where you sold from, and if you can't do business, you can't help yourself, and the same big business people are relying on you to buy from them, you can't buy from them either. So we'll have a shining city with nothing happening in the shining city. So we need to really get you back up on your feet. You heard the opposition spokesperson on agriculture speak very simply that if you're able to provide for yourselves, and the government wouldn't have to give out so much handouts, not true? Because you'll be generating enough income to do the things that you need to do. So what I'd like to encourage them tonight to do is to think about what's happening in the gap. So in the absence of things, real programs being put in place to help people, what's happening in the gap? Businesses cannot restart. If a business can't restart, the people can't help themselves. So they continue to hear the agony of people, because there'll be nothing given to them to help them to make a real difference in their lives. So the gap is what we need to deal with. Because a shining city, we want development, and nobody in the opposition will be opposing development, but the development has to make sense, and it has to be orderly. And people need to know that until development occurs, what do they do in the meantime? Not true? What you do in the meantime. So I want to really encourage you to get that list going, so that we can get a sense of what's happening and advocate for you. We can advocate both in the Senate and in the House of Parliament with your members of Parliament to advocate for real change and bring attention. We need to know your stories, so that when we turn on the news, we're not only hearing that everything is good, but we're hearing that the farmers don't have this, the people have no roof, small business cannot restart. The economy cannot do better if small businesses do not do better. I humbly suggest the word is love.
Well said. Well said. Okay, we're gonna hear from Mr. Goldie.
I just wanted to endorse what Senator Anderson has said, and to add to it. So we've heard that there are many people who have not yet received a benefit. We would like to assist you to get that benefit. We need the information. We need the names, the district or address, contact number. So we not only can advocate in Parliament, but we can TRN as well. All of the usual things that would help to move this along. We can actually approach the ministry directly on your behalf. If we have that information and say, here are the names of X hundred people or whatever the number is, they say they've been assessed, they haven't received a benefit. What are you going to do about it? The truth of the matter is that the ROOS program was funded out of last fiscal year's budget. That 10 billion was in last fiscal year's budget as amended in the last supplementary estimates. There was no provision in this year's budget for that program. So 1 billion plus is left, according to the minister. 70,000 families haven't yet received a housing benefit. That obviously can't work, because that money can't help 70,000 people. So the government has to come with an additional provision, which has to be approved in some supplementary budget. But we're not hearing anything concrete. And in the meantime, the data that we're hearing in terms of the performance of the economy is not looking good. but the government has to do what is necessary. They have the support of the international community. Jamaica has the support of the international financial community. Things can be done to expedite assistance. They just need to put the plan in place and explain why it's necessary, and they will get the support. But they're not, it's just like we're on cruise control while people's lives are at a standstill, in a mess, and people are losing hope and getting more and more frustrated. So the gentleman who asked what we are going to do, and he made a comment about he'd have liked to have seen us be more active. I accept that criticism, sir. We're here today, we've been here before, and we want to support our local representatives. We want to support Country, we want to support Buchanan, we want to support Fisher, we want to support Pagan, we want to support our caretakers as well. Leighton Smith is he here too? Yes, I haven't seen him, but Champion, all of our, we want to be helpful to them. So if they get the data and provide it to us, we will act on it and put pressure to try and get a result as quickly as possible. All right.
Well said, well said. We're going to take 2 more questions right away. And yes, I see. Mr. Bennett, can we get a microphone over to him, please? And he is from Parity, so I hope he speaks.
Comrade Leader, good evening. Good evening, comrades. Comrade Leader, I am making appeal tonight on the behalf of Parity residents. Comrade Leader, I lived in Parity all my life. Yeah? And I am asking you and a team to visit us, to stand with us and advocate for us, because the residents, they are very much concerned about their future. Comrade Leader, for context, we only heard about the relocation proposal through media entities. No consultation was provided. Nothing at all was said to the residents on the ground, and neither a proposal on what the residents will do, you know, if this relocation process should take effect. And Comrade Leader, many of the residents of Parity, they depend on fishing the sea. Their livelihoods are at stake. Comrade Leader, community tourism is another big thing in the Parity area, because many of the persons within the area, you know, they take persons to and fro from Pelican Bar, and they would earn a living through that. So if you should take away all that from them, what is it that you expect these people to do? So I am appealing to you, Comrade Leader, to visit Parity, have a one-on-one interactions with the citizens, because they are depending on you to advocate on their behalf. We don't want a scenario to happen like what we have seen on television, like what have taken place in Bernard Lodge. Person wake up, you know, before the dawn and heard their roofs going down. There is no plan for the government as it relates to the people of Parity. It seems as though they want to come in, you know, to divide and rule, because based on information on the ground, they are trying to get people to agree to move, you know, so they can have that information now and try to act in that regard. Comrade Leader, we are standing with the people of Parity, and we need your help to stand up and to advocate for them. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. We need to take that in note. And I think there are some other residents here from Parity as well. I know, yes. I know that there has been concern in regards to their electrification. I know many of them are still without electricity in areas in parity. Can somebody speak to that directly? Which communities within the parity belt that are still without electricity? And access to road. Are you coming around? We'll take, after this one, we'll take 2 more questions and then we'll move to the close because we're moving. Okay, we're waiting. Someone is coming. You want to speak? Okay. Is someone coming? Okay, go ahead. The councillor for Brompton would love to speak before the residents. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Buchanan.
Thank you, Dr. Miranda, Wellington, comrade leader, members of the head table, citizens of St. Elizabeth, good evening. I stand there and I listen, and many of the things that are said is common across the constituency and the parish. But 2 things are of concern to me, and I hope party leader can help. The replacement of the street lights. I am coming under great pressure because there's a narrative out there that is the councillor supposed to replace the street lights that were damaged. So I'm asking if you can look into that situation for me. Another thing is it's one thing to get the roof grant, but there are sections of my division that having problem with access in those parts of the area. For example, the hardware, the trucks, they are unable to get up to those areas. So I'm having problems or issues with the road network in my division. For example, Forest Mountain, Hodges Land, the roads are damaged bad. When trucks are going up there with the blocks, they are falling off. So the money is being wasted. Material or the hardware can't get up. So I'm asking the current leader, see what you can do. We can work together and get something done in terms of the road network and the street light, replacing the street lights.
Thank you so much. Okay, so 2 major issues came up. Access, road access. There are still communities, not just in Brompton, also there are communities in Pedro Plains, Round Hill Green Town. There is no access to that area currently. There is also 2 communities in Mountainside still without access, road access, because in Treasure Beach, the road is completely destroyed from the police station to the bottom of the hill. And so we're asking for some agitation, some advocacy for better road network. And the electrification, street light, okay. When the hurricanes came, there are many light posts that were down. The light posts were put back up without any street lights. I don't know if many of the residents understand what that means. You're in complete darkness. Many of your homes are still without electricity because it cannot be rewired because there's no roof. And also, your communities are without light. Without light, that is a recipe for criminality and insecurity. So we're asking for some advocacy in that regard. I am still waiting on the 2 persons who had asked to speak. If not, okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Big up my comrade leader. Straight up. Yeah, what I want to suggest is I would like to have a stabled put to rather. I am a farmer of I'm from Five Pen, St. Elizabeth in the Brompton Division. And I am having a real difficult problem, which others are having it too. When it comes to chicken, I have a loss of 500 chicken in the Melissa disaster. And I went to RADA and told them my problem. They gave me a number to call a special person. I do so, and not even one time out of about 50 times that I've been calling that person, I'm not getting through. So I would like you to stable it and put it on the table to RADA and find out what is the problem, because there is no farmer from over by my side that have been benefit out of RADA. 5 Pen. I'm from the Brompton Division. Yes. So Clifton Spencer. Yes. Buchanan in Brompton Division, yeah. So that is my few words. And one more thing. I am having a little problem with my colleagues from the People's National Party, because there is, I don't know if it's Roma going around saying that there is going to be some runoff with my party leader. I want to make that clearly, and also Jamaica to be understand if it's lie or true. Okay? Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Clifford. Okay.
Yeah. So on the question of your inability to, or the fact that you haven't got through to that number, what I would say, if you can provide your information in terms of name and number and the name of the district to Councillor Buchanan, who can get it to me, I will approach RADA, not just on your behalf, but on the behalf of everybody in your community who is in a similar position. Yeah. In terms of parity, boy, Kevar, it's good to hear. It's good to hear from you, Kevar. You know, I mean, it's good to hear from you. Yeah. I will try to find the time to come back to visit parity specifically. It will not be in the next 2 weeks, because I'm actually traveling, and then there's independence, but I will try and find time even in August for come to the community and talk to the people, because I know based on everything that's swirling around, there's a lot of insecurity. And you make the point, if you're going to relocate people who depend on the sea and the proximity of Pelican and so on to some other place, how are they going to make a living? You know, these are the kind of issues that before any plan is made about relocating communities to build some new city, these things have to be resolved with the people. And I also have to wonder, you know, you're talking about moving people because they were hit by a hurricane. But there are coastal communities right around Jamaica. The hurricane happened to hit this area this time. A future hurricane, lightning don't strike in the same place twice, them say. A future hurricane could hit any part of Jamaica, any coastal community. So, you know, to take a decision now to do it here, what about everywhere else? I'm just wondering what the real plan is. You know, and I'm told that there are politically connected persons who have been buying up land in this area, and it's really an opportunity for profiteering to take place on the land that they have invested in. Now, I can't tell you whether or not that is completely factual, but I've heard this from several sources. So we are concerned about the way the government is going about this. It needs greater transparency. It needs to be more inclusive in its consultation with the people. And the whole idea of it must be a people-centered thing. It must be about helping the people to have a better life, not about any other agenda of any kind. And as for the last point you made, sir, one Marky Jeep on the app. One.
All right. And on that note, and on that one Marky G note, we are gonna ask for one last question. One last question.
Testing. Opposition leader. I'm a pretty shy person. And I was sort of reluctant to come here. But I think I have pressing concerns. I'm a retired civil servant. I spent 42 years with the government. I have a little farm. Incidentally, my name is John Bardowell. I have a little farm not very far from here, where I had at one stage 125 mother pigs. Not pigs, mothers alone. I spent a lot of funds developing a farm. And I was devastated by Melissa. Some people call it hurricane. I call it tsunami. I don't know where this thing named hurricane came from. It's a tsunami. If you're to go to my farm right now and see the thousands of zinc sheeting, I am distraught. I'm sort of a little demotivated. But a lot of people depend on me in terms of, because we are a slaughtering center. People will bring their animals and we slaughter. We supply. So my problem is not just roofing, where my place was devastated. It is how can I resurrect to become useful not only to myself, but to the community that depends on me. And my wife, who happens to have been the president of the Pig Farmers Association, who is off the island and is returning shortly to prepare for Denby Agriculture Show, the Pig Farmers Association. The problem that I have is how can I get a kickstart, a re-injection of funds so that I can carry on. As I said, that there are people who depend on me, not only in the parish of St. Elizabeth, but as far as Hanover and Westmoreland, because Grace Slaughtering Facility has gotten their hit too. So people are relying on us to provide slaughtering service. Can you imagine people taking their pigs now to that place in Spring Village where they slaughter chickens, Jamaica broilers, as far as there? to go back down the line to do their thing. So we are in the mix of things. So that's one aspect. Having spent 42 years with the government, I retired as the chief motor vehicle examiner for the island of Jamaica. And I remember you touched on the subject of what are minor offenses that people are being ticketed. And that hurts, because I was the one that convened the very first meeting to start to review the Road Traffic Law Act. Huh? And that was over 20 years ago it started. I'm retired now 17 years. I see where there is talk that by the Minister of National Security on Deion Jackson's show some time ago, where they talk about educating the public. Total lie. I say that because if in my position, I have never been privy or heard of any consultation, any meeting to apprise people of, not even me know the new road traffic law. So how can the ordinary person know it? I know the inside out of the old road traffic law. And I know that there are aspects of it that are intertwined. And they call it new. The government call it new. I call it a revised edition. Because a lot of the old road traffic law comes over. So it should be a revision of the road traffic. There is an overlap of what the police personnel are carrying out and what the Island Traffic Authority officers ought to do. Example, a lug nut missing, $10,000. You have 6 lug nuts on your car wheel, or 5. And the police is saying you have 1 missing and you are ticketed for 10,000. What an examiner would do or ought to do is to issue in law a warning notice for a minor offense. Any little thing like that. It's not detrimental, and it is a prerogative of the certifying officer in the Island Traffic Authority to say, hey, you are missing. I'm going to issue a warning notice, and you bring the vehicle to me within 7 days, and let me see that you really did it. What an injustice! And there are several other issues that when I glanced into the new road traffic law, there are current serving motor vehicle examiners that still we are actually observing some aspects of the old law to apply in this situation. So what I'm asking you in your capacity as opposition leader, in the Senate as a senator, any parliamentarian, is to take task, advocate on behalf of the people who are unaware of the law of this country. Basic rights. People don't know. We are dependent on you. So there are two things. One, maybe, maybe opposition leader, you may have to advocate for a repeal of the so-called new road traffic law. A repeal, to look into it in its entirety, because some of the aspects of it really and truly doesn't really apply to Jamaica at this time. I could avail myself to have a little panel to assist in that regard. With that, I rest my case.
Well said. Thank you, John Bardwell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bardwell. Well, I would say the first chapter of your presentation, dealing with the situation that you have faced as an accomplished farmer, rearer of pigs, indicates the need for a Marshall Plan. It indicates a need for a serious system of ensuring funding flows to get established, reputable business people, small, medium, micro, back on their feet. The economy cannot restart if you didn't have insurance, or if your insurance is being hit by average, and the average clause is really being operated in a way that people didn't fully understand, and it has hurt a lot of people. And that has to be addressed. That's a separate matter already. Many of us don't even know what I'm talking about when I say the average clause. But it is a real issue where they say if you have something that you insure a house, and you insured it based on a value of $10 million, and it get licked, and when they come and assess it, they say the house wasn't worth 10 million before it was hit. It was worth 20. And the damage you suffered is $5 million. They say, well, 10 over 20 is a half, so you get half of the 5 million. You don't, that's essentially what it does. That's what the average clause does. And many people have found themselves underinsured. And there needs to be a review of how that works in Jamaica. But the bigger point really is, on the first aspect of your presentation, is that it speaks eloquently to the need for a really comprehensive program to get business people of all sizes, especially the small and medium operators, back on their feet. The economy can't recover properly, and this part of Jamaica is going to suffer generational harm if we do not deal with it promptly now. On the matter of the Road Traffic Act, it's a massive piece of legislation. It has a lot of complexity in it. A whole load of rules and offenses are created by it. And when the way in which it's being rolled out and interpreted on the road by the officers of the law leaves the motoring public feeling that it is unjust, it is unfair, it is disproportionate, and it don't make sense, then Parliament should review it. I'm not saying we have to repeal the act. It took 20 years to pass it. But I'm saying we have to review the aspects of it that are impacting people's lives directly now and sort out some of those issues, so we have less people who are feeling as if it's being oppressively handled. And, you know, in the same way we talked about the oppression of the animal which is not tagged and is then sent to the pound because the animal wasn't tagged because the government isn't providing the tag. The same thing applies where a police officer, for a relatively trivial thing, imposes a ticket without a warning. You could be driving and your tail light or your brake light stop working and you don't know. And a police officer stop you, bam, you're gonna get ticketed for that without the warning procedure, which says your tail light not working. If you don't fix it the next time you're caught, you're gonna pay the ticketed fine. The law needs to work for the people. The law should not oppress the people. And we understand that. And we're going to continue to advocate for that review before the demerit point system is overlaid on top of the existing system, which is going to make it even harder for people, especially taxi operators and bus operators. So I'm going to hand back now to Dr. Miranda Wellington, Here is the microphone, ma'am. Thank you for your excellent performance.
Thank you again. Thank you again, opposition leader. And I hope that a lot of your answers, a lot of your questions were answered. And I hope that the questions that you gave were clear enough for us to record and make notes so that we can give responses in another forum. I know that we may not have all the answers tonight, but what is important is the engagement that took place tonight. The communication, the interaction, the respect that you deserve, that your leaders have given you tonight. Please give them a round of applause. Tonight, your voices were heard. And even though you did not get everything that you wanted, one thing is for sure, this is the beginning of a recovery process. And I'm glad that you didn't hold back. I'm going to go straight into your vote of thanks, and I'm going to invite Mrs. Patricia Scarlett to come and give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Opposition leader, other members of the head table. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful event and to be working with a team of people who truly cares. On behalf of the people of the Western region, in particular St. Elizabeth, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guests. Our keynote speaker, opposition leader, Mr. Mark Golding, who did a superb job in delivering this evening's central address on the state of the recovery, the unacceptably slow pace of rebuilding across St. Elizabeth, the NARA legislation, and the need for genuine oversight and accountability, concerns surrounding compulsory acquisition, and the general uncertainty it has created for landowners, especially those people in poverty, building resilience into how we rebuild, the fact that recovery money remains largely unspent, because we all know that that 1.44 billion, only 2% of it was spent, and the inadequacies of the government's recovery programs, including roofs. You spoke about the government having a structured consultation with the people, and it is needed. Thank you, sir, for coming here this afternoon. And I am 100% sure you have greater clarity on some of the issues that he addressed this afternoon. Are you in a better position now? You're not in a better position? You did not get clarity? You got clarity? All right, so we can say thank you to Senator Floyd Morris, who gave us a detailed assessment of the housing situation across St. Elizabeth. Families still displaced or living under tarpaulins, the backlog in roof and home repairs, the gap between promised and delivered housing support, and what a serious people-centered housing recovery should look like. Sir, we want to say thank you for coming here this evening to address the people of St. Elizabeth. We know that with the right support and strategic planning, small businesses can unlock untapped economic potential that can significantly boost the economy of St. Elizabeth. Senator Kisha Anderson, you focused on the small business community, our shopkeepers, the vendors, the fisher folk, tourism operators, and tradespeople, the lifeblood of St. Elizabeth. You spoke about the losses suffered and the difficulty accessing recovery support and financing, and the measures needed to get St. Elizabeth's local economy back on its feet. You did so with eloquence and clarity. And for that, we say thank you. MP Ian Hayles, I believe St. Elizabeth is one of the parishes with the most water sources, especially in northwestern St. Elizabeth. A lot of rivers, a lot of springs all over. Nevertheless, the people of St. Elizabeth, we are suffering from water insecurity, serious water insecurity. And I've heard him ask for the names of some of our communities, and I can give you a list. Right now, I have a NWC bill on my telephone. It was sent to me for $475,000 from a resident in Rice Peace in Middlesex. And they have not been getting water for over 20 years. The last time you were here, you came with a bag of groceries, you remember? And you gave us a detailed explanation regarding the cost of living. Before Melissa, it was rough. After Melissa, it is rougher. Because some of us did not take heed to your warning. And right now we are in a pickle. This evening, you gave an in-depth examination of water supply and infrastructure across the parish following Hurricane Melissa. You spoke about the damaged system and the unreliable supply. Communities still dependent on trucked water, and there are not enough trucks in St. Elizabeth to truck water, and I can tell you that it is very costly. The people of a compound town can tell you, Bethsalem, Newmarket area, Coca, Rice Peace, all over St. Elizabeth, they can tell you that the cost to buy water, it's horrible. We just cannot afford it. And you talk about communities dependent on truck water and the investment required to restore and secure reliable water for households, especially our women and girls, farms and businesses in St. Elizabeth. I must tell you that I'm reading this vote of thanks and I'm reading it under stress. Because I've gone to homes where girls are not able to attend school because there's no water. And it's that time of the month. And they have to stay home because there is no water for them to use to go to school. Nevertheless, sir, thank you for coming to shed light on this very important topic, because we know that water is life. Dr. Campbell, you understand very well the human impact of Hurricane Melissa and the farmers of St. Elizabeth, the western region overall. Crops were destroyed and harvest wiped out. It's the first time I've ever seen a hurricane remove pineapple plants out of the soil. And I am wondering if it's a tsunami or a hurricane, because I've seen pineapple farms eroded, pineapple plants just removed like that. Farmers lose income and communities lose food security. There is quite a crisis unfolding. That's the loan that financed some of these farms. There are a number of persons who borrowed small business loans from the different banking institutions. And right now they are struggling to pay back some of those loans. There are persons who are losing their vehicles that they use as collateral, as security to get some of these loans, and their vehicles are now being taken away from them. Thank you for reminding the world that St. Elizabeth is and must remain the breadbasket of Jamaica. You addressed the devastation of the farms and farming infrastructure. You spoke about the impact on food security and prices nationally, the adequacy of support reaching farmers, and the plan needed to restore and modernize agriculture in the parish. Thank you, Dr. Campbell, for your thorough presentation. To you, the attendees, to you, the people of St. Elizabeth, and there are some persons here from Westmoreland, thank you for coming out to participate in this worthwhile session. This was all about you, and your attendance made the occasion truly special. Respect. Thanks to the online participants. We know that if you could be here, you would be here. To the board and management of this noble institution, thank you for hosting us for this very important town hall meeting. Your partnership means a lot to us. To Mr. Williams, Councillor Dwight Salmon, and Councillor Donovan Pagan, thank you for the part you played in kicking off the meeting on the right footing. To the members of the security force, thank you for always being here to serve and protect us. We appreciate you. To the drivers who transported the attendees here, thank you, and please continue to be safe on the roads and ensure your vehicles are in good order. The small business community on the outside, our vendors, thank you for coming. To Dr. Miranda Wellington, you were built for this. You moderated the meeting with grace, poise, and respect. For that, we say thank you. Thanks to BOJ TV and the other media houses for covering this evening's event. Thank you one and all, and have a good night. The word is love. Thank you.
Well said. And on that note, can we all be upstanding? Thank you so much for coming out, and have a good night. Please be safe on your journey home. One love. No. It's all right. Play some gospel music.
I say no. Okay. No, I'm not PNP meeting. There are persons going around collecting the names, the telephone numbers, and the TRN for the persons who want us to advocate on their behalf.